This video is gonna be about quotes. It's gonna be about quotes of Stoics. And it is also gonna be about Stoicism quotes. And it is also gonna be about quotes from Seneca specifically, because there are just a bunch of fucking amazing quotes of him or by him or from him. I still don't know. But I'm gonna see you after the intro. I'm just saying something pretty interesting though, but I'm gonna just point it out afterwards. And with that being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast, and I'm pumped for this episode. I'm looking forward to this episode. But before we even go through the episode, before we even go through anything, let's have a look at this one. If you're willing to have some background music, please check out the link in the description. There's a Google Drive link. There are some songs, and you can check out the songs and play them in the background, because I think it would actually be pretty and amazing. So please maybe just think about that. There's also going to be the notes from other videos. There's not going to be something in this video probably. So if you do just want to have a summary for some other video that I've done once, then please check it out. Also, the link to the podcast is down in the description, which means that you also can just listen to the whole episode so that you do not even have to fucking watch it. But yeah, let's see. I know, a little bit too big here. A little bit too big is this window that I'm having here, Let's see, these are the Stoicism quotes, and the other one is the Seneca quotes. Seneca, the author of the Letters of a Stoic, or from a Stoic or something, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, his quotes are amazing. Just before I'm even going through these quotes, these are amazing, really amazing. I think one of the best quotes that I've ever read in my whole entire life is one of Seneca himself, and it is amazing, literally amazing, really fucking amazing, like insane, like insanely amazing. It's cool. They're really cool. I'm looking forward to this. So yeah, the first one. So literally the first one. Sometimes, even though like something that I didn't know is that he's not only Seneca, but he's also Seneca the Younger and whatever, then Lucius, Annaeus, Seneca, like he's just having such a lot of names. Like it's difficult, But the first one is, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. I think it is actually one of these that I don't know, maybe I'm having a hard time to understanding those, but I'm not quite sure. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but the rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient, for that is so wants nothing. For he that is so wants nothing. The greatest blessing of mankind are within us and within our reach. A wise man is content with his lot, whether it may be, without wishing for what he has not. And I think especially kind of the last sentence there is amazing. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. Even though it is like, is this grammar? Not quite sure though, But I think it is also like pretty complicated to translate these things, just also in the way it was meant to be. But I think, it sounds to be a pretty good one, It really sounds to be a pretty good one, A pretty good one. The next one. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity, which is something that I think is actually the truth. Like, it makes sense. It just really does make fucking sense. So is luck actually luck, or is like just when preparation meets opportunity? And I'm of course not reading. All cruelty springs from weakness. An amazing one as well. Religion is regarded by the common people as true, by the wise as false, and by rulers as useful. Yes. Yeah. No. And there's actually, the original one is non est ad astra mollis terris via. There is no easy way from the earth to the stars. And as I've said just so fucking often before, it is not going to be easy. Everything that you're trying to build, everything that you're willing to do, this is not going to be fucking easy. It's going to take some time. You're just needing to be passionate. There's going to be some things that you just need to go through probably, in terms of like, there's going to be some fucked up shit maybe. Let's have a look at just some other Stoicism quotes, because I'm not willing to go through only just his Seneca ones. The first one is something of, I didn't know that this person is actually a Stoic, more or less a modern Stoic. And it is Marcus Aurelius, and he's the author of The Book Thief, which is actually like, this is one of the books that I've been talking about before. Like, the German translation, because I've read the German one, is complete bullshit. because in this book it's or in this case it's the book thief, and in the just German version it would actually be the book thief, but it is not like a neutral expression, but it is like the book thief in terms of like it is a female one, which is die Bücherdiebin, which means that it is like feminized in terms of like you could be the Buchdieb and you can be the Buchdiebin, which is like, first of all, it's the male, and the second one was the female version. And it is like, why are you translating that in this way? I do not understand. The next one from Marcus Aurelius. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to things itself, but your estimate of it. And this is you have the power to revoke at any moment. Which means, if there's something and you're pissed because of it, then it is not about the something, but it's because you're pissed of it, which means that it is about your judgment, it is about your thoughts, it is about how you react to certain things, which make certain things good or bad. It is not about the thing itself, it is about the thing, it is about you and your judgment and how you think about things and all these things. Like, it is totally not about the thing, it is about you, only about you, Never let the future disturb you, you will meet it if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. The next, Aaron Hunter from Into the Wild. Warriors should suffer their pain silently. I'm not quite sure about that. Really, I'm not. But, only my judgment, only my opinion. It is what it is. It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable. From Seneca, the Stoic philosophy of Seneca, Essays and Letters. It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable. Amazing. The next one from Randy Pausch, The Last Lecture. Complaining does not work as a strategy. We all have finite time and energy. Any time we spend within is unlikely to help us achieve our goals, and it won't make us happier. Yes, complaining as a thing, which is something that is clearly a thing that a lot of people are doing, is pretty useless. So why are we even doing this? Like, complaining about anything, whether it is something big, whether it is something small, it won't make anything better unless it can make things better. Which is, if you're in school and you're just receiving a grade and or receiving a mark and you're receiving a bad mark, a bad grade, whatever you're willing to say, and you think like, well, I should deserve a better grade. Maybe it is good to just have a discussion with the fucking teacher. It helped me, it worked also for me. So therefore, why not? Try it out, see if it is working. If it is not working, then it is not working. And if it is working, then it is working. And yeah, it's amazing, which is, I think, one of the only kind of situations where quote unquote complaining, because in theory or practically you're actually having a discussion and you're not really complaining about something. But yeah, this is when it could help, kind of. Not truly, kind of. Not entirely, but kind of. Not really. Kinda. The next one is really long, but still could be good. T.H. White, ghostly, grim and gruesome. Whatever. Life is such unutterable hell, solely because it is something beautiful. If we could only be miserable all the time, if there could be no such thing as love or beauty or faith or hope, if I could be absolutely certain that my love would never be returned, how much more simple life would be. One could plot through the Siberian salt mines of existence without being bothered about happiness. Unfortunately, the happiness is there. There's always the chance, about 850 to 1, that another heart will come to mine. I can't help hoping and keeping faith and loving beauty. Quite frequently, I'm not so miserable as it would be wise to me. Which is a quite interesting way to think about just everything, quite. Because it's like, actually, So let's actually go through a bunch of Reddit questions, because I think only going through quotes, I thought about it as being just something that's pretty cool and pretty nice and pretty interesting, but it's like, just realized how controlling I am and my mind is blowing. It's blown. I'm sorry. I've known I'm controlling for a while. I want to have full control over my life and my future and everything that will happen to me. I want to have control on how relationships are and how conversations go. Blah 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 blah. I never ever tried to let my feelings get better of me in the sense of actually trying to control people. I don't think that's fair in any regard. I try to take responsibility and never just act upon what I feel. What I realized today, however, is something else entirely. I want to control my view of who people actually are, so that I can be prepared for future interactions. And I always try to figure out people, but sometimes I seem to make up some ideas of them and who they are in my mind, which is something I guess that we all sometimes do. Unfortunately, I think this ties in with my difficulty of just being me. Instead of letting myself be the controllable factor, I try to control everything around me. I'm so glad to have realized this, but I also find it very sad. I don't want to control so much anymore. I just want to be me and live my life and not worry as much about controlling everyone. Yeah, kind of seems like to be one of the things that might be bothering you quite a bit. And I mean, like, we can't control anything. You know, we can't control the weather. It's actually beautiful weather outside. You know, it's actually quite of a pity that I'm always sitting at fucking home. But it is what it is. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, I could also just be complaining right now about the weather being good because I want bad weather, because I want to sit here and not feel bad about it. But if I'm complaining about it, it won't just, worsen, basically. It would just still stay the same, practically. So therefore, like, yeah, I can control everything. But some things that I can control is how I view things and how I think about things. And this is completely enough. I did small talk with the cashier today. I'm pretty shy, so my usual encounter with cashiers, if this is actually the right pronunciation, I'm not quite sure, goes something like them, hi, how are you? Me, I'm good, thank you, how are you? Them, doing pretty great. And then, oh, good, I'm glad. And then I stand there in silence while they ring me up. But today was different. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to be very engaging, over enthusiastic when talking to strangers, which doesn't really work out in my favor because I'm not a very expressive person in real life. But I just told myself to stay chill and it all worked out. And I'm so proud of myself. Lol. And I would say so. And it is something amazing. You know, it is just really amazing. If you're able to just progress in whatever it might be, whether it is something that's relatively small for somebody else. The problem is, some things are something like this. You know, this might be something that's pretty small and pretty insignificant for some people. But if it is something very huge for you, then it is also pretty amazing. You know, it's also fucking great then. So why not? Either write it down into the comments, I know, or just write me an email or something, or write me an Instagram DM message if you do not want to just be shown there and whatnot, and I'm gonna fucking answer it, you know, as many as I can, and I'm just gonna try. You know, it would actually be nice. You know, I would really like to do that. I don't know if I can help, but I would like to, and I would like to try, actually. I would really like. I love the feeling of being able to help somebody. The only problem there is that, especially on sites like Reddit, it is like when you're giving advice to somebody, and it seems to be something that they maybe didn't really anticipate, then it's going to be like, either they understand it or they do not understand it, and to kind of feel like, well, okay, thank you for your advice, though it is just pretty nice, but I do not think it is going to change anything. The problem there is, if you're having a sort of authority, which means, let's for example, take a pretty famous person, if this famous person is saying something to you, it means something completely different than if somebody else said it to you. Which is a little bit of a pity, you know, but it is understandable, like it just truly makes sense. But yeah, they're having more leverage, they're having more whatever that makes you kind of act more on whatever. It is what it is, you know, it is what it is. The happiness challenge for 2020. This was a post I saw on the depression sub. I have been severe depressed for years, but was deleted, which is a shame because it motivated me so much. OP basically challenged us to be as optimistic as possible all January, to see the bright side of things and hopefully write them down, so when you are feeling down, you go little back and see all the good things that had happened to you, and also updated other people about your accomplishments. I was so sad when I saw that the challenge was taken down, so I put it here so we all can try it. And I think it is a pretty good one. You know, I think it is actually a pretty good one, since it could help quite some people. I'm gonna upvote it, you know, because it could help quite some people to just, well, it's basically a way to just be grateful for whatever you're having. You know, this is quite then it, which is nothing bad, which is not like, okay, it is way too low of a thing. It's really important to be grateful and thankful for whatever you're having, and being able to come back to that just because you've written it down, maybe even also just in terms of a diary, would also be pretty great, because then you can say, well, yeah, on this and this day, I've started this habit, and this habit has been amazing up to this point, which is something that still bothers me about myself, that habits like working out, taking cold showers, meditation, starting the YouTube channel, I didn't write them down. I do not know when I've started all these things. The YouTube channel, I know the first video was back in whatever, and then I don't know. But actually, I think I'm gonna have a look at this just after the video, because I would actually be pretty interested in whenever I've started. We're actually pretty nice. But I think it is a good idea. I think it is a good idea, and it is also a pretty convenient idea so that you're able to just get back to these things, And there's an image, and then I'm gonna sort it by something different, because I would like to just see new things, It is necessary sometimes. Sometimes you need to burn bridges to stop yourself from crossing them again. Yeah, totally, I mean, if you're just putting yourself into a situation that is pretty fucked up, for example, being in a house with 10 other people, nobody has any money, but you all together are able to afford that, and you're just living off of quite nothing, and you're doing that, then you are in this position, and then you just have to do something about it, i.e. making money and whatnot. And it is you have to go from there on. And it makes sense, and it is good, and it is cool, and whatever. But let's actually have a look at something like the self-improvement one, but let's sort it not by hot, but by new, because there's going to be just completely different things. I am a failure at 26. It is a really long one, but what I can say is that you're not a failure. Whatever has happened in your life that you're not happy with, and that led to you being who you are, is something that is in the past. Complaining about the past doesn't change anything about the future, nor does it change anything about the present. Thinking about it can change things, because if you're thinking about it, you might be realizing that whatever has happened in the past is not that bad, and hasn't even just changed you that much, or just, actually more or less isn't that bad. Because you just made a bad decision. Well, why complaining about it? It is what it is now. You can't change it, so why should you be just complaining about it? It is one of the things that we can't just change. Therefore, there's no particular reason why it actually would make sense to talk about it, complain about it, whatever it might be. It doesn't make any sense, so why doing it? And it's we all have just made bad decisions, but I actually want to have a look at what's maybe a little bit of nuances. I'm an introvert and have high-functioning autism, Asperger, or Asperger's, or Asperger, as it is in German. So socializing has always been tough for me. The small social circle, most often people with autism are highly intelligent in some way. Not, maybe fully, I'm not quite sure. So socializing has been very tough for me. The small social circle that I had has drifted apart, and now I have basically no close friends or social life. There's this group I get invited to birthdays for one or two times a year, but that's it. I message my old friends on Facebook every now and then again, but I can't get them to reply for more than a few sentences before it fizzles out. Also, I get along with the people I work with, but I wouldn't really call them my friends, more like friendly acquaintances, and those friendships don't really exist outside of work. My dating life is just a desire, is just as dire, or dire, whatever. I've always sucked at talking to women. The only ray of hope I have is music. I've played the piano since I was 7 and make music on my computer since I was 12, and I consider myself pretty good at it. I'm now 26 and there's been plenty of time for me to convert this into a career, but the mental health issues I've had combined with general perfectionism, procrastination, and indecisions meant that I wasted a lot of time. Now, there are much more people doing electronic music than there were before, and there are tools that make it much easier, so the advantage I had of starting early has been lost. It's going to be a lot harder to make something happen now, although I guess it is still possible. I can see 30 approaching on the horizon, and frankly, I'm terrified that I'll be in this situation then. Thoughts of suicide have been on my mind. Professional help is always something that's good. It's always something that I'm gonna suggest because it is good. It is something that's amazing. It can help, and it's probably gonna help. The thing is, you've probably missed the time. You probably do not want to say big mistake or whatever, but it was a mistake, of course. And I've also missed my time. I've also could have started the podcast way earlier. I could have, but I didn't. And therefore I've then just started a year from now, which is also fine. The thing is, you're still able to do something. You're still able to just, first of all, you are good probably, you know, and not everyone is good, even though there is just a lot of just things that you can use so that it sounds better, or it seems to be better. But is it in the end actually going to be better? You know, especially if compared to somebody that is having real experience in playing the piano and might be even more creative with playing the piano. But I would say just doing this and going for this and being like making a song every day, since like if you're having a lot of time and if you're just really passionate about music, make one song every single day. Try to make song every singular day. You first of all gonna just stop the whole procrastinating shit, because the whole procrastinating shit is only about like trying to do something that's good. You know, it's not the goal to do something that's good. In the end it is, but in the short term it is not. In the short term it is just doing something. Doesn't matter. Just do something. I'm just having a blog post every single day and I think they all are pretty shit because I can't write. I'm still doing them. And some people actually seem to enjoy them. I'm not a writer. I really am not, I guess. But I still enjoy just writing down some words, talking about some things, as well as the podcast. It's something that I like to do. Of course, it's not always easy. Of course, it is not always easy to just sit here and talk about something and come up with something that might be important for somebody. It's not easy, but this is the challenge. Doing something that is not easy, that is just evolving the complicated work. You know, it's not about tasks here. It is about doing something that might be benefiting somebody else, that might help somebody else. It is just emotional work, some kind, and I'm now just basically paraphrasing what Seth Godin is often talking about. The thing is, if you're really willing to do something like that, I would just start to do something every single day. It doesn't in the beginning necessarily have to be a whole song, since I know it might be really, really difficult to do so. You know, but if it is about a melody, like a melody a day, could also be doing something like that, you know? You could be also just having a beat a day. You could do that. You know, not every beat that you're gonna make is gonna be just amazing. For sure not. I can promise you that. And not every fucking article that I've written is good. Not every episode that I've recorded is good. Not every post that I'm posting on Instagram is good. Even though I tend to just only post things that I think are quite good. Like, of course, I can differentiate. All the 5 posts a day, not every one of them is just exactly the same on a goodness level. They completely are not. But it is about just doing something every single day. And eventually you're going to get better and you're going to be able to just do way better things. In the very first beginning of just the whole Instagram game, just especially, it's been completely bullshit, whatever I've done. You know, going back to that, I just actually have to say like, yeah, it's shit. Actually, sometimes going back a month from now, then I also feel like, well, I don't know which trend or which thoughts that I had been just having back then. But it's not been that cool. We are going to evolve. You know, we are evolving all the fucking time. We are just changing all the fucking time. Things are progressing and we are progressing all the fucking time. Do something every single day. This is the point of the video, I guess. But yeah, with that being said, I wish you the best health, love, happiness, and also success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, which basically means just being a nice person. On the other hand, I'm having 3 questions. Why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? Ask yourself these 3 questions. They are important. They might be showing you your purpose and maybe even a business idea. But yeah, I'm gonna see you the next time. I at least hope.